Gamers hate women. Nerds gatekeep women. Incels attack women. Yeah, from my experience, it's the total opposite. In fact, those claims are kinda hilarious. So here's an early story of how these kind of guys actually acted around girls. Shit, what am I gonna do for the background? I don't play any games that cover this topic. Ah, fuck it, I'll just steal Peach Saliva's stream. I'm sure she won't mind. So, back in the day, there was this girl. I forget her name. I'm not good with names. If someone tells me her name, I'll suddenly remember it, but at the moment it's blank, so I'll just call her Girl. What's funny is that I had actually kinda heard about her before I even met her. Rumours were going around school that someone got hit by a car at the nearby McDonald's, which actually came up in conversation with her sometime later, at which point I laughed at her. I can't exactly remember the first time meeting her, most likely just floating around when hanging out at school. I mostly noticed how guys started acting around her, in no particular order. Here's some events. I once walked into the library and approached a friend. I needed him for something, so I'm trying to talk to him while he's busy looking away from me to talk to someone. Well, ain't that a bit rude? I keep trying to talk to him when he eventually just turns to me and says that he's really busy. At which point I decide to look around and see what's going on. I see this girl sitting at a computer surrounded by guys. Most guys from my area clique, of like geeks, gamers, dorks, nerds, etc. She's busy smiling and engaging with all the guys about whatever. I kinda just roll my eyes and leave. Actually, this happened a few times. I'm trying to talk to a friend and he's blowing me off to talk to her. Another time during lunch, I walk into the theatre for anime club. And it was less of a club and more like a random viewing of a Naruto episode that was leaked from a LAN. I walk in and see that same friend running off to work the projector. I sit down and he suddenly comes running up to me to inform me that I've taken his seat. My first thought was thinking, who fucking cares? The theatre is mostly empty, what's so special about this seat? Then I look to my left and see Girl sitting right next to me, with an awkward smile. Oh, I see. Whatever. Another time I come across probably the lamest event I've ever seen. Not sure how it came up, but I learned how Girl had this system for something called pity points. If the guys hanging around her did something pathetic, she would give them a pity point. If they collect enough, they could bank them to get something in return, like a hug. Fucking hell, even my retarded ass can see how pathetic and condescending that is. You may be wondering why she's getting such focused attention. See, she kinda had an interest in geek stuff like anime and video games. Also, she was really pretty and pretty cute. Like, naturally pretty and naturally cute. I don't think she was actually big on makeup. Yeah, the idea that nerds hate women and always try to keep them out has always been such an alien concept to me, since I see how these same nerds go to great lengths to try and date women that are actually interested in the same stuff. Before this shift happened, it was kind of a stereotype of how undateable and pathetic nerds were in regards to women. It's the reason why the fedora got its reputation. I never went out of my way to try and chat Girl up, because a woman sharing my interest isn't an automatic green flag for me. Just because she likes my hobbies doesn't mean she won't be a total bitch. Regardless, she still had a habit of popping up out of nowhere to see what I was up to and to regularly bother me. Eventually, she heard I was running an Xbox LAN and asked if she could come along. By then I knew more about her and how she had an interest in games, and I was always looking for more players. So I accepted, got her a number, and told her the details of where and when it was. Now, there was this other guy who was kinda skeezy, especially when it came to women. And when I say skeezy, many years later someone told me about a time when he was 21 and threw a party. Invited over a 14-year-old girl, got her drunk and had his way with her. Now, I have zero evidence that any of that is actually true, but my initial reaction was to believe it. He also had my guts for some reason. He was one of the guys who was always trying to bang Girl, and did the whole pity points thing to get a hug. He approached me and asked if he could also attend my Halo LAN, which confused the hell out of me. Because on top of hating my guts, this guy was also a Sony fanboy. He hated Microsoft, the Xbox, and the Halo franchise just on principle. His contribution to gaming talks was usually to reinforce his doctrine. But I'm a nice guy, despite how much it's ruined my life, so I accepted. Maybe I could convince him how fun Halo was, and can get more players to capture the flag. Oh, whatever. So on the day of the LAN, all the guys turn up. Girl didn't. I'm messaging her on my mobile and checking up on where she is while also trying to run the LAN. This guy is kinda playing Halo with everyone, but he keeps bothering me on where girl is. Eventually, she messages me and says that a family emergency came up and she can't attend. Ah well, these things happen. We're still having fun, except for this guy, who starts acting really grumpy for the rest of the night. I learned later, despite how obvious it was, that he only attended my LAN just for a chance to bang girl, which I find kind of pathetic. I know a lot of guys will be nodding their heads along with him and thinking they will do the same. Sorry for being a gamer, I guess. An anime convention was coming up, which were rare at the time. I guess they still are in Australia. I went to this one a few times, but eventually stopped going. Found out many years later that it eventually shut down. Anyways, a lot of people in my friend groups wanted to go. Despite being a teenager and not knowing what the hell I was doing, I had to organise for a night over in the city for a lot of my friends. I did manage to get a hostel. I don't know why I was the organiser, but girl came along for this one. Did that skeezy guy also go? I can't remember. We go to the con and I wander off. I have a habit of doing that. Even when I go somewhere with a group, I tend to walk off and go do my own thing. So I'm walking through some booths, carefully eyeing all the manga and art books I can't afford. I then notice girl standing next to me. I think nothing of it. Then suddenly she reaches out and wraps her arm around mine. I ask her what she's doing and she replies with, "Well, I heard these kind of conventions have really creepy guys, so I thought if I pretended to have a boyfriend they wouldn't bother me." Okay. So I guess for that day I had a pretend girlfriend. Nothing really major happened for the rest of high school. I graduated, I was a year older than her. I went on to uni to eventually drop out. Although during the next year I returned to my high school for something. Sometimes we did that, either to go to one of the LANs or to get a reference from a teacher or something. I was in the library and filling something out, I forget what it was. Girl suddenly popped up for a chat. I'm writing, chatting with her and chatting with the library attendant. Eventually I bring up how she was always popping up and bugging me last year, and asking why she always did that. She didn't respond. I shrugged it off and just went back to what I was writing. At which point I hear a faint, "Because I thought you were handsome." Huh? Wait, what? What did you say? What was that? She laughs and then runs off. Okay. Whatever. Skip ahead to about 10 years later. Oh. You know, despite what she said, I don't even think that's the reason why she always tried to hang out with me. Honestly, I think it's because I was the only guy that actually treated her normally. I wasn't going out of my way to gain her affection just because she was a gamer, or just because she was pretty cute. She had to have noticed in the group of guys always surrounding her that I was always there, off to the side, doing my own thing. I treated her like everyone else. I didn't give her special treatment just because she was rare. Most likely she thought I would judge her based on herself, her personality, and not her appearance or hobbies. Probably thought there was potential for a good relationship. A shame nothing came from it. That was probably for the best. She most likely went on to have a good career, moved away somewhere to pursue it, met someone nice, got married and had some kids. Most likely a better option than dealing with me. Certainly doesn't bother me. Fuck.